Hello and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Jacqueline Dorsey of Lean Frontiers and I'll serve as your host today. I'm excited to bring to you today a short webinar on lean leadership facilitated by Tom Jackson. Tom Jackson is a co-founder of Rona Consulting Group, a Seattle-based lean management consultancy serving in the healthcare industry. Tom specializes in executive education, Hoshin planning, and a large-scale lean conversions. Due to our limited time,
home office in Portland, Oregon, where I will be talking about the anthropology of lean culture. As the iceberg on this slide shows, lean culture is often hidden beneath the surface. A lot of what we know about culture is not obvious when we look at it for the first time. The leading expert on organizational culture, still alive today, is MIT Professor Emeritus Edgar Schein. Professor Schein has taught us that culture has three distinct levels. The first level consists of artifacts and rituals. These are the physical things that we see when we first look at an organization. The second level of culture consists of norms and values. These are expressed through what leaders, managers, and workers say about their organization. Norms and values are often expressed through public statements and more often in private conversations. The third level of culture consists of the underlying assumptions. These are the concepts and values that leaders, managers, and workers deeply will believe and act upon. So we see norms and we see the underlying assumptions expressed mainly through behaviors. In this talk, I will venture to describe lean culture in terms of 10 artifacts, 6 rituals, 6 values, 2 norms, and 10 underlying assumptions. Let's get started with the 10 artifacts of lean culture. I'd say the first artifact that often comes to my mind is the U-shaped cell. This is really the iconic layout of lean production in which parts flow like water from one workstation to another. The layout is so universal that today it is now being adopted in healthcare, of all places, where patients, as well as medicines and supplies, can be made to flow without waits or delays. The second artifact of lean culture is the Kanban. If you can't flow, pull, or so says John Shook, where parts or patients or documents or medicines or boxes or whatever, wherever they must wait in between production cells, they can be managed in an orderly and predictable way by allowing the cell that consumes them to use a signal called the Kanban to indicate when that cell is ready to produce. Ready to produce the next part, ready to see the next patient, ready to sign the next document, and so on and so on. Now the third artifact is I'm actually kind of a fudge factor here. It's the Lean Toolkit, and of course, which is vast. There are hundreds of tools that we would all recognize as lean tools. So I'm just going to list a few of my favorite source books that I regularly use in my own consulting practice, and that list will be on the PDF that will be uploaded in a day or two that contains the script and recommended readings. You'll have access to that later. Artifact, now of course this includes the tools of lean production, the tools of total quality management, the tools of design for Six Sigma, the tools of Hoshin Kanri. Again, this is a vast toolkit, but they are all recognized as lean tools. Among all of those tools, maybe the most, the one that might raise a smile, bring a smile, would be the stopwatch. Who can imagine lean culture without stopwatches? Everything that Toyota does is based upon a deep study of how long it takes to do stuff and whether or not those activities add value. My favorite stopwatch, by the way, is Casio's model HS3V1R. It doesn't have a mode button, and so it's easy to reset and it doesn't go off in your suitcase. Artifact number 5 is 5S and visual management. 5S supports lean production by passively communicating to frontline workers and to their managers whether a process, a system, or a piece of equipment is in control or out of control. People think it's just housekeeping, but really this is a system that passively communicates whether things are in control or not. And in any lean organization, you're going to see a good 5S. Artifact number 6. Of course, this is my own list of artifacts, my favorites. Artifact 6 is the andon. It's another characteristic piece of hardware of lean culture. And andons are used when the passive control of 5S is not enough. Andon means alert or alarm, and it's a visual control that often looks like a stoplight. It actively signals to workers or managers that there is a problem in need of attention, that the process is out of control, or maybe it's just about to go out of control. If the light is green, well, okay, things are running just fine. Artifact number 7 on my list is Pocoyo, or in other words, mistake proofing. So in addition to andon, Pocoyo provide us another way to actively signal that there is a problem. We often see Pocoyo or mistake proofing devices that actively communicate whether lean systems are in control or out of control. Again, this is part of the characteristic control system, the physical features of that control system that we see in lean organizations. Mistake proofing uses either high or low technology, or even simple checklists to embed a kind of memory into a piece of equipment or into a series of manual steps that must be performed, or equipment that must operate in a certain way to produce a product at top quality within a certain window of time. And when that can't be done, the mistake proofing device will either send a signal, or will stop the process, or will do something to intervene in that process automatically. Technically speaking, mistake proofing is part of a broader concept called jidoka, or automation, also known as automation with a human touch, which integrates the function of machines with the unique sensing and problem-solving functions of human beings. Stop the line and visual management and mistake proofing are all in support of jidoka, or automation. Artifact number 8 on my list is the standard work documentation package. This includes from top to bottom the standard worksheet, which is used for documenting spatial relations and workflow and the placement of equipment and supplies, the time observation form, which is used for documenting workflow, the standard work combination sheet, also used for documenting workflow and analyzing workflow, and the percent load chart, used for balancing workflow to demand or takt time, and finally the standard work instruction, used for communicating work standards to frontline workers. Artifact number 9, you were waiting when this would show up, is the A3. A3 documentation is used to plan strategy and manage projects. This is how leaders and managers speak with data in the rituals of continuous improvement and strategy deployment that we'll take a look at later. Now, artifact number 10, you might not have been expecting. This is the matrix. This is the last artifact that we'll mention. It's very characteristic of lean culture. Now, why the matrix?